never seen myself the way I have seen myself with you. Lately, I don't understand myself at all.
Fresh A-N-D,
Stu was like, yo, you need to rehearse? No, I don't need to fucking rehearse. I'm like fucking Hove. I'm like Gucci in 06. I'm like Wayne in No Ceilings. I just come off the fucking dome, one take, and then maybe I'll ad-lib it. But besides that, one take. Back to the movie reviews. Roadhouse, R.I.P. Swayze. He really is a ghost now. Life imitates art. Art imitates life. This fool's dead. He had cancer, but he had good abs. R.I.P. him. While he was alive, he was making bangers like this. You know this movie only has like 38% of Rotten Tomatoes? I looked it up one time. This movie's fucking good. I'm gonna go ahead and lead. Okay, it's about Swayze. His name's
The name is Dalton.
Dalton. His name's Dalton. And he's just a fucking quirked up bouncer who fucking got a philosophy degree from Columbia, and he drives like a fucking like sick S-Class Mercedes. And he's just like a badass with a heart of gold. You know, he can beat anybody's ass, but he'll try not to. He can stop any fight. He can fucking swoon any woman, but maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he's sick of getting fucking random bodies. I think he just wants to fucking find the one. He's working at a fucking bar. There's a blind dude who plays the slide guitar. They be throwing bottles at him. He gets like recruited to go to another bar in like one of them flyover states that don't matter. He goes there and basically does too good of a job, and it's one of them fucking towns where like the one rich guy owns everything. He gets stabbed, and then he meets the main love interest, this bitch. She looks like Dolph Lundgren, but she's like pretty bad. But I've never seen her in anything else. I guess she was in, yeah, she wasn't in anything else. Like the movies that they have in parentheses in the back, like don't matter. So long story short, they fall in love, and then her granddad owns a hardware store, and then it gets blown up by the bad guy, and she's all fucked up over it. The main bad guy got like a fucking posse of dudes, and Swayze's just fighting them nonstop. And then he calls his OG in, who like low-key is a lot like Tommy. He comes, he slides, he taught fucking Swayze everything he knows.
Good to see you.
He's fucking salt and pepper hot guy. He be catching hella bodies too. And he fucking fights hella people too. Swayze's just living in a barn too. Let me set the scene. He's living in a barn across the fucking lake from the goddamn bad guy. And they're like staring at each other, and the bad guy's trying to like get Swayze to work for him, and Swayze's like, fuck no.
How much would it take to get you to come work for me? There's no amount of money.
And then everyone's like backing Swayze. He drives a monster truck to the Ford dealership. That shit goes crazy. So he's on some real like evil hijinks shit. Like nothing's like really, he doesn't really like kill anybody. I mean, he kills like a couple people, but it's like, it's not that big of a deal, you know? It's a small town, like all these people like lives kind of were meaningless anyway, so it doesn't really matter like what happens to them. The stakes are pretty low. Then there's like the guy hires like a real badass. He's like, he looks like fucking like a Native American Swayze, and he has a dangle earring, which like in the 80s meant that you know he's bad. And he also wears like puka shells, and he says to Swayze like, I'm gonna fuck you like those guys in prison. And
I used to fuck guys like you in prison.
then they get to tussling, and Swayze rips his fucking throat out, and that's like the best part of the movie. I'm pretty sure like Swayze just murders the fucking the main bad guy. There's a room full of taxidermy, kind of like Ace Ventura. Swayze fucking prevails, and everyone lives happily ever after. And I think he ends up with fucking Dolph over here. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think you probably want to ask me, is this movie good for children? I would say yes, it is, because it teaches them to respect authority, but like the right authority, like the bouncer at the bar. You know, like maybe cops and shit like could maybe like abuse their powers, but you rarely see a bouncer abusing their power, you know? Like I've never fucking seen it in person. I've heard about it. So yeah, it's good for kids. Overall score, 9 Chrome Hearts crosses out of 10. This shit's gas. This is a fucking classic, this movie. This movie's a fucking classic. Swayze crushes it. Look, here's the dude. They can't beat each other, but together they're unstoppable. But then he gets murdered. They stab the shit out of him. Yeah, respect the OG, respect me, bro. You listen to these fucking fashion TikTokers before you listen to me. That's why you're all fucked up and y'all fucking look crazy. Hanging out in front of goddamn 2nd Street in Soho, bro. Come fuck with me, listen to me. I'm like the fucking guy from Roadhouse, basically, is what I'm getting at.